Welcome into Dom Time. It's Wednesday night. We talk with some of the area's best pundits about all the issues that are out there. Some of them we drill down on deep because these are the people that cover these things on a day-to-day basis. Kevin Reardon covers South Jersey, writes a column for that. Slice of life, politics, everything that moves in South Jersey. Sean Walsh writes for the Philadelphia Daily News about city politics and the like. Kevin, wanted to talk about somebody who combined a couple of things here. He's all over the place. I'm not a fan. This is the part where I can give you my take of him. I think Cory Booker is maybe the captain of the all-overrated team. I know he's a national celebrity. I know all that. I saw him this week with the 50th anniversary of the I Have a Dream March, trying to tap into this bipartisan President Obama mode. And I don't think he has the same goods that Obama did. What's the read on Cory Booker in South Jersey? Is he a known entity or is he seen as kind of a Newark guy?
I think he's transcended the Newark identification. In fact, his critics would say that he hasn't spent much time being the mayor of Newark, that he spent more time hobnobbing with Mark Zuckerberg and appearing on the national stage, not to mention tweeting. Right. He's a famous user of Twitter. I've seen Cory Booker in action a couple of times. He is an exciting politician. And excitement only goes so far, but there is with him a certain star power, not dissimilar in a lot of ways to what Chris Christie has. Obviously, they're very different politically. But I think that Booker is not, at least in South Jersey, in any way held back by his identification with Newark. I think he's seen as a dynamic and as a very capable politician. I'm not so sure that if his record in Newark is looked at with any specificity, that he's as impressive as he may seem.
Well, he cites the fact that he worked with Governor Christie, but Christie has actually governed and run as a governor, et cetera, and been bipartisan, if you will, with these others. Him, I'm a little bit more suspect. It's a great rhyme, and maybe people in New Jersey want that. But I don't see the evidence in Newark of what he's done, and admittedly an abysmal, very difficult situation.
Well, I think the one thing that Booker has done in Newark, or for Newark, is to give it a much more youthful, a much more sense of possibility. Newark was led for many, many years by Sharp James, who ended up in jail. Right. Booker is a different sort of urban politician. I think too much can be made of that at times. I think there is some substance there, but I do agree with critics who say that there may be all show and some show and not enough go. I think that is a fair assessment of Booker.
Now, Sean, he was at Stu Bykowski, our colleague's comedy night the other night. Assessment of Cory Booker from where you sit.
The jokes were okay. He held his own up there. He looked comfortable. It's a very uncomfortable experience for the politicians.
Doing stand-up for a couple minutes
to do
is
stand-up, but the Daily News makes them do it. But he was absolutely the star of the room when he walked in. The camera surrounded him. And this is Philadelphia. It's not Jersey.
Well, you observe a lot of politicians. Where's the star power, though? What is it based on? I've interviewed him a couple times. And, I get what is said to be, and I hear the bipartisan stuff. And he has rescued people. I think that's legitimate.
That helps.
But I don't see exactly anything that he says or does, to me, that has Obama. I get whether I agree or disagree. I get the star power there. It was obvious that speech he gave in 2004. I see this guy as kind of a knockoff of that. You see him as that level. That's what we're hearing. This is just the platform now toward 2012, 2024, something like that.
I don't know if I'd say he's a knockoff. I think it's hard to maintain celebrity status in politics for years on end. You mentioned the 2004 speech for Obama. He was in the White House 4 years later, and he was a state senator when he gave that speech. So he was able to ride the wave of popularity. Booker, however, is mayor now. He'll be senator probably, and then it'll be a much slower ride. So it'll be more interesting to see if he has the charisma to keep the popularity going in the right direction.
Now let's talk about Governor Christie, who certainly has the ability to make headlines. This week he did a CBS radio show where he was the co-host of a sports show, and he said he hopes there's a huge blizzard. They're playing in a blizzard in the Super Bowl in Jersey. And he may think that's funny or good for him.
Well, he was out of the state when we had a blizzard of significance a few years ago.
But the star power seems to rise, although Barbara Buono has cut a gargantuan lead down to not so gargantuan.
Look, Chris Christie is of a magnitude that you don't see all that often. I think that's fair to say. The man is more than just a celebrity, although he certainly is that. I think the lead, one would expect that it would shrink somewhat. I mean, but at this point, you spoke of President Obama. There's no indication that President Obama is going to help Barbara Buono, and I think that's because my sense would be that people in the White House, people around the president, want his attention on winnable,
Do we all agree
races
Chris
or
Christie's
not.
running for president right now?
I don't see how he's not.
Right.
I can't imagine that he won't. I think that everything that he does in some way has awareness of 2016 built into it. How could it not?
Well, including, though, coming up with, in my view, again, a cockamamie date. When is it again we vote on the Senate race in
we
New
vote
Jersey?
on the 16th.
Of
No,
October.
the 16th of October, yeah.
After we've just voted in the primary in August.
In August.
And then
when-
we'll vote again in November
and
for the governor's race.
We'll vote again in November for the governor's race, and I think Chris Christie does not want any distractions from what he is hoping
Right.
to be a gargantuan landslide in his favor over Barbara Buono, and hence he'll be able to argue that his appeal transcends party.
Sean, one quick question with you, and we'll take a break, and we'll take more with our pundits tonight. Michael Nutter chafing at what I think is unfair, too, the Philadelphia teachers going after him, blaming him as the architect of not doing enough to get more money for the school district in Philadelphia.
That advertisement from the
Right, constantly. We heard it on radio. We're
Right.
playing it constantly, yeah.
It was a big buy. It was an effective ad in terms of
Right.
how they did it. Did certainly lack a lot of nuance. Many critics for Mayor Nutter about the school funding situation, but it's interesting to see him isolated. I think he's right to take exception to how simple they made it seem.
I mean, he's willing to go out and put $50 million on the debit side versus what Clark is saying, which I favor, but he's willing to throw more money out there instantly to open the schools.
I think it's that the mayor doesn't have the power. He can't get his priorities through city council sometimes. It's very hard for a Philadelphia Democrat to get heard in Republican Harrisburg. So I think that if he's failing now, it's because of a lack of execution, not because he's on the same side as
As Corbett,
as
yeah.
the enemies of the school district.
Corbett and Nutter together. All right, coming up, what are we watching on TV? Charlie Manuel departs. And what the heck happened to Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus? Straight ahead on Dom Time.